Maxx, man.
Nah, Scott Paul, man.
Out here.
Back in New Jersey, dog.
Man, it feels good to be back too.
Yeah.
Need to get a little video for the
right.
brand real quick.
Get right. Oh yeah, we're
What's up
back.
to the people?
We're back.
Yes, sir. It's the whole. Yeah, man.
We are so back.
We are out here. Yes,
We
sir.
are so, and it's funny. You hit me up, so I get a lot of people from the music industry that hit me up. Obviously,
Yeah.
just big part of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
And I entertain everything, like, you know, but I get a lot of people, and they'll be like, "Oh, can I jump on? Can I jump on?" And I will.
Yeah.
When you hit me, I was like, "Yeah, we got to do this."
You know, you're real quick to say yes, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was what I was expecting, Robbie.
Yeah.
Because we go back.
We go back.
But it was good to see, man.
I'm happy that you took it that way, because
No, it was love, bro. It was love.
It was love. And you know what's interesting too, because we came up around the same time in the music game in New Jersey, and you know, we've had conversations, we've shot the shit a little bit, but like I don't think we really really sat down and talked.
Nah, the only times was like in the back of Bliss. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't count, bro. Oh my God. Do you know the shit I was on in the back of Bliss?
I have an idea.
Oh my God.
Some good conversations.
Some great conversations, bro. Bliss.
Yeah.
If you know, you know, and
If
I'll
you know,
leave it
you
there.
know. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I remember, I'll tell you, I remember Cardi B at Bliss. Were you there?
I don't think I was there for
TP and Mobster. Remember TP and Mobster?
Of course, yeah.
So I think it was TP's birthday. Okay. And Cardi just dropped Bodak Yellow.
You know, I might have been, because I feel like I was out during that time. And if it was TP's, because you always did something.
Yeah.
I was probably there for that.
You probably were.
There was just, so that was when she just dropped Bodak?
Just dropped Bodak.
Because I remember, we're going back a few years. Because I just remember, like, right before Trap Queen had came out, and you know, in that scene. But yeah, so that was a few years later. But
yeah,
carry on, brother.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, and I remember her popping up, and then like obviously she becomes what she becomes, and I'm like,
bro, nobody, bro. I booked her as a when I was putting on this show with Fetty, and she was just like a host. Didn't really know who she was. You know, I wasn't in the. I know she was real popular for what she was doing on Instagram, and you know, real funny personality. But you know, people were excited that she was coming out, but she was just like, you know, this funny Instagram person.
Yeah, she was funny. She had it was her voice. Bro, I'm pretty sure. I'm very sure, but I don't want to be wrong. I'm pretty sure she just like
oh yeah,
at Bliss.
Just that does not surprise me in the least.
Mind
bro.
you, this was way early.
Yeah, no. You
know, the record was popping, but early.
Oh, she did that while the record was out.
She did it on stage at Bliss.
Cardi B, man. Cardi B.
And you know what the B stands for? No, it was crazy. It was so dope watching like watching a lot of people over the years. You know, like we've all had our come ups in many ways, but like watching certain people kind of pop off was wild.
And it you know, it really shows you kind of looking back how you like you can't predict the future.
Hell no.
You can't predict the
at
future,
all,
because you know, some people that you figure would be relevant forever didn't last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then some people like, who thought, like, bro, Cardi, she's about to drop the sophomore album. Like, she has been a staple in hip hop for almost a decade.
You put her in the top 10 female artists, if not top 5 of all
like,
time. Hip hop.
What? Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Like, locked in. Crazy.
Cardi B, bro. But she, you know, we were talking about it before. Like, she had the thing. Obviously, the music was really, really good, and you know, Partisan Fontaine wrote a lot of records for her. So like, you know, it's a lot of that people don't know. It's like a lot of shit behind the scenes to make things look at her.
Absolutely.
But she had the it. She had the it.
That's it. A lot of artists have songwriters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of artists have the whole thing. But exactly. But if they don't have it, and Cardi B so clearly has it,
she's a star.
Yeah.
She's a star.
Yeah.
She's a star. And like that's why, like, too, when you know, you got a lot of people who have opinions when it comes to anything in life, but like music will stick to that, you know, artists and what they think of them, and I like them, like, don't this, I've always viewed it very differently. Like, I might not, you know, your music might not be my cup of tea, like what I'm gonna press, but
absolutely.
I love when somebody is like, I can see the why.
Yeah, same.
I love that.
Same.
Like I love that, bro, so much. Like I love seeing people be exactly who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and win
and excel being who they are.
Yeah.
Because I can relate. There's a lot of big artists that or artists at all stages that even if not my cup of tea, I would never listen to a song or an album. There's like you'd be surprised at the artists I never listen to albums. Just because. Like music isn't a chore. It's a
it's your soul.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody got a different
soul. You got a different thing, but like you can I can recognize what's talent.
Why?
What's relatable.
You get why.
Yeah,
it could be heavy metal.
Exactly.
It's just I get it.
Like, I get it. Yeah.
And that's what makes me never like. If you want my opinion, I can share my opinion of what I think.
Yeah.
But I also hold back because I don't want people to take my opinion in a way. So it's rather not even talk about it.
Yeah.
But like, I might not like your music, but like, man, I love that you are who you are. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, because that's like especially in music, that's the most important thing. Because as you could not like somebody's music and they could take off just because of like, it's not your cup of tea, but they have some niche. They're able to fill some void with some, some demographic of people. So,
bro, in life, I love it. In life, like when people are just authentically themselves, like we don't have to relate on the topic at hand.
Yeah,
I love 8 billion people in the world, bro. Like when we used to do a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's somebody for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So like, I used to do these anti-bullying tours, and like one of the things that stood, like I had to approach because I was never bullied.
Oh, yo, I forgot about those. Shout out to you for those.
It was great.
That was really cool to see, man.
Shout out to Chris and Nobody. They were really the ones who started that, and then they brought us in. M. Rose, Danny Munoz, Alexandra. Like that was them, and then they pulled us in, and then the second we hit the stage, like you gotta finish the show, like you gotta, you have way too much energy, bro. We can't have you come on early.
Turning them kids up, bro.
But point is, what I was saying was like, I wasn't bullied. I didn't have those stories to attach myself to, so I had to figure out what was I gonna say. And the thing I would always say is I spun it a little different. I would say, hey, listen, like I point to a kid and I'd be like, you know who you are, you right here, and I point, I'm like, you know exactly who you are and what you like and what you think you're capable of, and you're letting the person to the left and the right of you stop you from being that.
Yeah.
And the second you try to adapt to what they are, what they think, you're going to lose yourself, and eventually that's a slippery slope. Yeah. And so I would always tell people like, yo, no matter what you like, no matter who you are, no matter what you're into, no matter you got to pay attention to what your flow states are, and what sparks your endorphins without it being outside, right? Yeah. And if you stay there and you go, there's money to be made, there's an industry for you, there's a place for you, and it's actually your people.
Yes.
It's really your people, not the who's cool.
Yeah,
your people.
Because to what you said before, there's 8 billion people,
8 billion people,
right?
bro.
But we're raised in the small towns. We're raised wherever we are. Like the world is only big as what we can see, and it's different now because kids are growing up with the world in their palms, so they can kind of like see how big it is.
And what's cool in their palm, so even harder.
And so that's like, there's all these things that you don't know unless you're experiencing it, right? Because everybody always thinks that these kids have it easier, they have whatever, but you don't know all those things that you just said. I just said that it's easier for them because they have all this access, but as you brought up, it's still being driven to them.
It's always kind of just floated in this difficult. It's in the fine line. It might like spread because of all the new things and nuances, but that's been forever. But like, the way you walk it, no matter what, all the good that can come from something is also, there's a lot of negative, and then you got to figure out how to balance it and how much you understand it.
And a lot of that comes from like experience. Self-assuredness, which you're gonna get through experience. Confidence 100%. Is something that you get through experience.
1,000,000%. Everything that you go through, no matter what it is, good, bad, ugly, it's all positive if you have the right perspective.
If you have the right perspective, and that's it. Like if you can use that experience that you have, whether it's good or bad, to make sure that next time you're in a similar situation, you're even better suited to have the outcome that you wanted. Yeah, like that's where you want to be. That's what you want to do. And man, to what we were talking about before with just being raised and like not knowing not knowing how big the world is, not really being able to, as a small young mind, being able to really conceptualize, like, no, like, even if every single person at my school doesn't get me, there are 8 billion people outside that might.
You don't know until you. So when you were in high school,
you know, I only need 0.11, like 0.0001%. You know what I'm saying?
A tiny fraction.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me when I was in the music industry a while back, this is years ago, and it stuck with me, and I'm so happy they said it because it really did put a lot into perspective. 1,000 people. You get 1,000 people, you can make a living doing what you love.
Yeah.
Buying your merch, coming to your shows, supporting your music, every layer, like across the board. If they're loyal, you're making a living doing what you love. And it made it a lot easier because we compare ourselves as artists and creatives to like so many different people and things. And, you know, envy does set in, whether, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just as proud of, or I'm so excited for you too, but I'm also deep down like, I want that, you know, and I remember feeling that for a long time, you know what I mean? But it's all perspective. Like it's all real perspective. And when you start realizing, you know, you were in high school, you were an athlete. When you're popular, right? Because we both played sports and right, good athlete, right? And let's get into your story a little bit, right? So, I'll preface it by saying, you know, when you're that person, you have a small world that you're the man in, right? And then you get humbled when you step outside of that, and then you realize, like, okay, I'm kind of the man in many ways, but they're not accepting me for all that I'm used to being accepted for. So then I got to like learn and grow and all these, right? So it's interesting. Life is very interesting. You got to pay attention to all of it. You're never don't be the smartest person in the room ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Absolutely.
You know, be pushed.
It's a scary place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody likes that though, because they want to feel empowered.
It's a great way to limit yourself. Yeah.
It's the best way to limit yourself.
Best way to limit yourself. Yeah.
But let's get into it, bro, because I want to get to, I have a very loose understanding as to, you know, your upbringing and who you are. But we did grow up in New Jersey. So what town?
So yeah, Newton, New Jersey. That's where I really call home, I guess. Yeah, we never really got to the nitty gritties in the back of Bliss. So
hell no.
Yeah, man. So I was actually born down in Miami, Florida. I moved to Irvington, Newark, and then Irvington. Lived there for a little bit, and then they were selling drugs in front of the house. So my mom was like, nah. Shout out to my mom. So she's an immigrant from Haiti, came over here when she was 17.
I didn't know you were Haitian.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know you be with Zoes, bro. Yeah, it was man. Nabule, brother.
Can I say something? Do you know how to speak?
Like an embarrassingly little amount.
All right, so I won't say it. I'll talk about it afterwards.
Please, yeah. I'm a very proud Haitian that knows an embarrassingly little amount of Creole. Man. I give my mom all the credit in the world, but she really did everything that she could with the limited resources and knowledge that she had to give like all of her kids the best possible opportunity. So so my dude at her job told her about this faraway land called Sussex County. So moved there, when I was young, and I went to school all through Newton, which is like small town and suburban rural county.
What towns are around Newton?
In Sussex County, there's it's that's why I always just say a faraway land. Faraway land called Newton, because there's like Newton, Sparta, Andover.
Got you.
Sparta's something that people may know. They got money in Sparta.
We played them one time. That's the only reason I know Sparta.
Yes, yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, they're pretty good at a few things, but. Yeah, man. So that's where I, went to school, and then went to William-Paterson. That's where we ended up linking. Yep. And then now I'm a Houston boy. So
Houston boy,
man, be moving around.
Yeah. And he's humble, but very good running back.
Yeah, man.
You had your.
I wasn't you, bro. See, I'm humble also because like I just know I could just talk to a big dog like you, and then
I wasn't that. I was decent, bro.
Well, you a state champ or something. Right?
I won state championship, but I didn't even realize like the kind of quarterback or athlete that I was until I was in my 20s. Really, because I was such. I looked at it like for one, I didn't work hard enough. It was very natural. Everything was very natural, right? So everything I did was just because I coasted and could and still be really good. But there were people there were people that were better than me, You know, I also only threw the ball 7 times a game in high school because we ran the ball down everybody's throats.
Yeah. You were still the quarterback though. You don't gotta give the background, bro. I was the quarterback of the state championship,
bro.
You feel me?
That's it. I was the quarterback of the state championship team. Period. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But I know you were a good athlete and you went to school, and that is where I first actually, before I even got to know you, I saw you because you used to do this thing called room rap.
Room raps, man. room rap. Yo, shout out everybody.
Room rap, bro.
Damn, yo.
Room rap. Yeah. So that was the first time it was you, like dialysis, right?
Man.
I kind of remember.
Dialysis,
and then the white boy who wound up being a pretty big producer or something, right?
Reed Stefan.
Yes, Reed.
Yep. DJ Ridiculous back in the day.
DJ Ridiculous. Yep.
Yeah,
that's where I first saw you. And I thought it was the coolest shit ever because at that time, you know, mind you, this is pre-social media. This is like before Instagram, TikTok, and you know, TikTok was way down the line. But you guys were doing something where it was unique, it was fun, you know, and it was very hard and difficult to put yourself out. Like I was using MySpace. I think you might have been using it a little bit too, right? Yeah. But you guys were doing
baby.
MySpace, bro.
Yeah, man. Back in the days.
Your top 8.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
man.
I remember room rap. Where did that, like, what inspired room rap?
You know, I forget who actually. It might have been Reed who he definitely, you know, helped with the production and everything of it. But yeah, man, we're you know, just some freshmen in college, and we were meeting people who had the same interests, and like, you know, where I went to school, you know, it was just a bunch of people from different places that they didn't have anybody really in their backyard that had the, you know, passions and whatever skills that they did. So you know, we found each other, and then we would just do this once a week thing where we set up a camera, we'd all, you know, pick a beat, and then everybody would just, you know, spit out a 16 or whatever. And it just kind of grew over time. And I forget why it shut down. I think it might have been, you know, Reed just wanted to do his dance music thing.
Yeah.
And you know, nobody ended up picking it up from there, but
it gave you a platform.
It gave
you a stepping stone, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw it
for sure. And you know, for me, it was the first time being like really being around other artists, other spitters. You know, specifically. So that was a cool way to. As an athlete, I'm very competitive, but like I'm big like friendly competition. I don't, you know, I like being motivated by the people that I'm around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be pushed.
I want to be pushed. You know, I very much want to see everybody succeed, but I also like very much want to see myself reach the peak of my potential. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And sometimes it's easier to do that when you could like survey the field and you got people that make you want to step your game up. So that was really cool, man. I got to, you know, meet a lot of people and be inspired. And because I think it was my sophomore year that I got to open up for J. Cole.
I remember this. Yeah, I just remember seeing shit.
Yeah.
Wow, like I was so green at that point. So like I remember seeing anybody
do it, bro.
Yeah. But you were further. Bro. You put yourself. You had put yourself out there in a way that, like, in my mind, I was figuring out how to do it. Like having a few songs on MySpace set the tone for me. Don't get me wrong, but it was, you know, I was not there yet. Right. So to watch anybody do it in a way where they're like, quote unquote, having success. And mind you, you know, you see somebody open up for J. Cole. Yeah. It's like, oh,
it's like,
sick.
Yeah. No, and it's still one of those things. He's the first tall rapper I ever met, man.
Yeah.
I thought every rapper was short. I thought that was the reason why I didn't make it.
How tall is he? Like 6'2"?
Like 6'5", bro.
No.
Yeah, bro. My man walked by. I was like, oh.
What?
Yeah, he's like a legit tall person. He's at least 6'4".
Oh, that's why he can hoop the way he can hoop.
Yeah,
that makes sense now. That makes more sense that people speak about his game the way they do.
No, he's a legit.
He's like 5'11", just kind of
just look
people
lanky.
gassing him up.
Nah.
I didn't know he's that tall. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he was cool. But yeah, man, you know, that was like a situation where I met. I was just walking by the president of the you know, student program that was putting on the concert, and I just like kind of ran her down and was like, you know, is there any chance I could? And she was like, yeah, send me your music. I sent her my music, and then boom,
she gave it the green light.
From there, gave me the green light. And yeah, man, I've always been I don't come from money. I don't come from having like some crazy contacts. I don't come from an area where there's any type of scene. So I've always been very, you eat what you kill. You know what I'm saying?
Your hustle is obvious. Like you hustle, you work hard, you get after it a certain way. Like it's, and to be fair, and like this is kudos to you in general, is like I root for those people the most. Right. I do because, I don't like to get too engulfed in being like enamored by how good you are. Like I love that too. I love talent, bro. Like don't get me wrong. There's some people that are like, whoa, right? Yeah. But to me, it's like the hard workers. Like they're the ones that are gonna find the most success. And until you figure in life, this isn't necessarily like a specific industry. It's like in life, because they're always gonna be able to adjust. They're always gonna be able to pivot. They're always because they put that first. What do I have to do?
And a lot of because a lot of that was necessity. You know what I'm saying?
You have to feel that.
Yeah.
You got to feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You felt it. It's obvious you felt it, and it's translated in your life, right? And that's upbringing, that's experience, that's like, again, not having maybe, I mean, there's a million different reasons why, but you paid attention to it. It's obvious because you worked hard. You work hard.
Yeah. I do. Thank you.
You do.
Thank you.
You do. You cover a lot of grounds, bro. You do a lot of different things, and you keep yourself visible on top of it, which is a thing.
Not everybody,
it's a job, bro.
Not everybody's gonna like understand that part of it.
They don't understand it, bro. You know what? All this that I do, bro. I'm doing a podcast. I do deli reviews. I do it for other people. I do a million things. One of my purposes in business and in any bit of conversation, consultative, mentorship, anything is the importance of, if you have something in today's climate, you need to be visible a lot, and it is a job. So either you're gonna do it, and I can teach you or coach you, or you're gonna pay me to do it.
Somebody to do it, but it's
or the next person.
Done.
Correct. 100%. It's got to get done, bro. Because
you can't be a serious business, especially in music. But in most industries, you can't be serious about it, and
you're at the very least you're limiting your potential, right? So you can find success and be good.
That's a much better way to put it, because there's a lot of things about social media that can be like daunting, or if you don't have the experience, or like if it wasn't for like my music, I probably wouldn't even really be on social media, and
I hate it as much as I love it.
I
just know how important it is.
And like, I love certain things. I love being able to connect with my communities straight through there. But then I'm also like terrible at actually like engaging with people because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes me not even want to,
Yes.
So
you're subjecting yourself to having to, and then you have to, but it's like, that's another thing.
But it's like,
I'm grateful for it,
but it stresses me out. And it's like, it's this thing. And
that's fair, bro.
Because I'm like, I'm doing so much. So that's something that I'm also, my foundations are more built now, than they probably ever been. So just being able to actually like really delegate and appoint people to carry out more of the executive stuff and more of the administrative stuff, so that I can focus on, being more present, first of all, and then being more present so that I could create more, being more present so I can engage with my communities more, and also like ultimately I would love to be able to just create and then be an ambassador for
that's the goal.
Yeah, you already know. So
I just want to be here. I'm gonna do what I do.
I want to do what I do and get paid very well for it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We do, but we're gonna get. I want more.
You know what it is, bro? It's like, especially in a music scene, right? Like we know what it is, what we aspire for, right? Whatever we aspire to, and the things that you get access to when you reach those levels. So when you know that you have the talent, and you have people telling you that you have the talent, you have all this, it's like, then you like, your mouth salivates for the things that come with that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to turn that off.
It's very hard to turn it off, and it's also, it took a lot of time for me to realize that everybody also has a motive, right? So they, even if they're trying to butter my bread. It felt so good so many times because but people also look at you like you're a ticket for them because they can't figure it out, and then learning to sift through that,
and that's so hard,
and be respectful because I don't want to be disrespectful.
And like, especially when like when you have good intentions,
Yeah.
so you expect that from other people. So I learned this through therapy. It's a fallacy of fairness.
Yeah,
right.
I like
And
that.
it's this idea that other people are going to treat you, or they're going to act a certain way or feel a certain way that you would in that circumstance. And when that doesn't happen, it can like really mess with you, mentally. And that's something I really had to grapple with, because I've like, gotten myself in these situations where I couldn't fathom the person doing me like they did me, because I would never take advantage of somebody or whatever. And that's on like the dirty industry side, but just on the peers, the people that be around you that really are only there because they know that you could be a ticket.
You're
for
beneficial.
them. Yeah,
to them,
and you think of it as being more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, bro,
and like,
and I tell you, serious, heavy anxiety and depression from learning all of this. Behind closed doors, like, I'm a happy person. You would never know it, right? But like, heavy analyzing life and what the hell is going on. Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling about that or this person, or why would you do that? Or, and there's things I subject myself to that I can live with, right? Like that I've done, or that I can look at and be like, yo, I messed up there.
Yeah. We're all flawed.
Everybody. So get it out of your head if you think you're not, and stop acting like you're not, because you are. And maybe differently than the next person, but everybody has flaws. Everybody. But yeah, bro, like that was really painful, because I did everything and constantly do everything for like all the right reasons, and it's interesting because I feel like if I wanted to be a multi-millionaire right now, I could have been.
Yeah, I feel like that too. But it's like,
I want to do it the right way.
I want to do it the right way.
I want to do it in a way where it feels real and it feels, I don't want to,
fulfilling.
Yeah. And that was very hard for a minute, especially the older you get, and for me it's family, and you got yours too, and like
I'm gonna start with my family soon for sure.
And you even mom, dad, I mean families, like facts. Anything who you want to give back to, like I want to be able to provide.
That's my number. That's always been my driving.
Like everybody loves money, don't get me wrong, but like I like to take what it is that I won the 50-50 yesterday, and like the first thing I thought of is like, all right, I played with these instantly. In first thought, I played with these three guys. Now here's $50 each.
Wow. Yeah.
Just like, yo, bro. And they're looking at me like, bro, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, I just made them extra money. Like, I don't view money like one of those things. I view money as like a great tool to be able to change things for the better, or like spark something in somebody because they're struggling, or, so yes, I want enough to provide for myself and have comforts. And of course, like, don't get me wrong, but it ain't my motivation. It is not it's not my numero uno motivation.
Word. Yeah. And I relate to that, because it's kind of always been my thing. And like, I'm the type of person where, if I got $10 million all of a sudden, like I would know what to do with it, but what I would be doing with like the vast majority of it would be like some calculated investments.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Calculated investments, philanthropic, community stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't need $10 million.
I wouldn't even know what to like. I don't have desires to buy all these things. Like I'm gonna get the house that I want for my mom. And
something nice to drive in.
Something nice to drive.
Her to drive in.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then like,
what do you do?
Man? More studio sessions.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I'm gonna just be doing more of what I like. I'm a travel, because everything that I do business wise, I can do pretty much everything remote. Which is super fire. Like, I'm definitely I've set up my life in a way where I can live the lifestyle that I want. And so now it's just, putting the rest of the pieces in place. But yeah, man, money is opportunity. Money is a lubricant. It makes things easier.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
In many ways, business is everything. But I know that when your time comes, it's not that you don't leave with it.
Yeah.
And so like how do you feel internally is really like the thing happening.
Life is short.
Life is short, bro. It's moving faster than ever, bro. Moving faster than ever.
It moves fast, and it could be very surprisingly, unexpectedly short. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's another crazy. It's in the back of my mind a lot, but I don't. You can't let it. Like too much anxiety in that space, it can stop you from being great.
Yeah.
And doing the things that you're capable of doing. Right.
Well, and that's it's just the reminder to have that, like, that YOLO. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, you only live. It's true, bro.
It's so true.
Live every day like it's your last.
You know?
Best you possibly can.
Yeah, you know, because you really never know. So, yeah, man, I try to live my life with that in mind.
Tension, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going because I want to know. You said room rap kind of like fizzled and faded, and it's not you're on your own.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So and let me ask you, did you do music prior to room rap, or was that just like a passion thing? Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna rap.
You know, I did. It was just, you know, again, it was no scene where I was at. You know, I had some friends that I did music with. So when I was in Newton, so I would still like spent a lot of my summers in like Irvington, and you know, so I was still like very intertwined with, you know, a lot of friends and stuff like there. And then in Newton, a lot of the friends that I ended up you know, getting close to were people that moved in from Patterson and from Newark and these places. So when I was like in 5th grade, this cat Ray, who his family had moved from Patterson, and they were like all Latin kings, but he was like he rapped, and at that time I was actually, I don't know if he was the reason why I like actually transitioned and started like rapping, but when I was younger, I liked poetry. Mm-hmm. You know, the whole art of like putting words together and yeah, like, you know, it always fascinated me. And eventually that, you know, kind of moved into writing. And then, you know, all through middle school, I found some more friends that did it. And then before high school, all my friends that I was writing with, they all went to jail because they were like doing robberies around the town. So they all got picked up. And that was actually, so there's been a couple of times I've had people look out for me all throughout my life because kind of they knew that I had bigger visions, right? So, you know, those guys that I was running with at that time, they never had me like involved in stuff that they were doing. I remember in high school, you know, I was very, very, very broke. So I had, you know, friends who, you know, selling weed and stuff. And I would just like inquire about it. And the response was just like, nah, man, you got good shit going on. You know,
you don't see it that way in the moment because, I mean, you know you do, but you know they're probably making a little bit of money, and so you know I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, but I never pushed back on that because I always appreciated when, you know what I'm saying, when people actually had my back. So I forget why'd I start talking about. Oh yeah, then I'm talking about my whole songwriting jersey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then at that point, after they all got locked up, then I started being a solo artist, and ever since then, yeah, man, I was just always like writing. And then there was this cat Cred. Shout out to Cred, man. But yeah, he was this dude in my town who he thought I had talent. So he was the first one to ever like help me start recording and stuff like that. And then then went to college, and so in college I studied business marketing and music management. So that's what I studied there. I always knew that music and entertainment was what I was gonna do. The people never had a, you know, real father figure, so I took you know, the men that I looked up to were like, you know, cultural figures and, you know, different things like that. And one of those people was like, you know, Jay-Z. I was always really inspired by Jay-Z and the fact that he used his music as the magnet. You know what I'm saying, to do the other things. And so I think that was always the play, you know, that I wanted to do it. And you see now, like, we were talking about this before, but just like in music, the money is scarce, you know, unless you're touring, unless you're able to make a lot of money touring. There's like not really a lot of money in music, but I found that early on because music is so fun and it's so dope, and you see the lifestyle that these guys all get to live. So if they're making, you know, all this money doing now, why are they doing all this other stuff? No, it's very true. I mean, I feel like you got to get to a point where the money actually, like for you actually make the kind of money you want. It takes a long... Or even like to make the money that it looks like you're making. Because these rappers out the gate, these record labels throw all this stuff on them. So now they got all these... They got the perception, and they don't have the money to actually keep up with that lifestyle.
And you know, people don't know this about the music industry. It's like artists can be popping off, right? Like, so, you know, it's come out more and more over the last, you know, X amount of years about like independent artists, and, you know, there's more money to be made as an independent artist. And like, it's like this is my thought. It's like, yes, but everybody.
Are you a CEO?
Yeah.
Are you a business person?
Correct. So like it's a lot that you have to endure and understand for you to really make being an independent artist fruitful, like really fruitful. Yeah. And so when labels come in, they have the bank, they have the budgets, they have the resources, the network, they have their foot in the door in anything, radio, shows, Live Nation, I mean, anything. And so they go and they give you $1 million. Like what artists don't know, and they probably do more and more now, but like it's good if you don't know to know, they give you $1 million. That's not, here's $1 million. Nah, that million is recoupable.
Yeah, that's
so,
a loan.
It's a loan. Yeah. So like, and then every time you need to, you know, spend on a music video, or you want to buy yourself a car or rent a car, or you want to buy a crib and it's not coming out of that $1 million that you have. Yeah. That adds and adds and adds. So your money, your music can start making money, mind you, on typically like you don't own any of the master. It's a 70-30 split. If you're lucky, 50-50. Publishing is getting pulled from you a little bit. You probably get a little bit more of the publishing side, but like there's money there, but it's not like gonna make you back your $1 million. You better be hitting a home run of a record, you know, and doing endless shows, right? So your money's in like touring and merch, but it's also being pulled from you a little bit too. You don't own the master, and most of the money's in the master. Like there's a lot of shit. So the more and more you're spending to be popping, the more and more you owe to the label. So the lifestyle looks like it's good, but what do you actually have? You know, so you better take your $1 million, learn how to invest it, understand how to invest it. And that $1 million also is what, taxable. So you know, you're really only walking away with 600, 650, whatever the fuck it is. You're like, people need to understand.
And with that, you gotta like pay for the album, pay for the features, pay for the everything. $1 million, especially now, like that's not really anything.
It's not, but it's to a 22-year-old kid,
who wants to be a millionaire,
$1 million, and be around what they're around and all that too. And then you're stuck in a contract where until you recoup every single dollar and hit your terms and hit every album that you committed to because it's on a piece of paper, bro, it can become a fucking headache. You know, and so that's where it's like, if you know it, if you're aware of it, I would never tell people, like a lot of people are like, yeah, don't sign to a label. No, it's not don't sign to a label. Word. If know the situation.
No, that's it right there.
Because they're gonna give you a lot to benefit from. And if you need to give 3 to 4 to 5 years of your artist life to a label that's gonna give you this, get your lawyer, get your advisory, get your manager, get everybody on the same page, and know not to spend your fucking money stupidly. Because you can walk out with like millions and millions of people following you, and you might put yourself in a position to then be the CEO. It's just people are impatient.
Got to have that foresight, you know. And there's, but like you look at even like 50 Cent back in early 2000s, he had the foresight to know, let me use this record label, that, you know what I'm saying, this record contract as a springboard.
For now he's an executive producer and a vitamin water investor and a million other businesses now, and like, you know, and you don't need the world to be like financially to be happy. Like you can have enough money and be good, but like, you know, but everybody has ambitions to be really set, comfortable, generational wealth. Like, don't get me wrong. To each their own, whether you do or you don't. But yes, he had the wherewithal. Jay-Z had the wherewithal. You know, guys like whether you like them or you don't, which obviously we don't. Like, they had the wherewithal. You know, these people that you see that are actually executives that are music people, the ASAP Rockies of the world. You know, these are people who understood it, and probably also there's things about their situation that we also don't know.
Of course.
Like, you know, Drake, for instance, I heard this is like, bro, there's people who take bits and pieces of Drake. Doesn't get 100% of Drake.
That doesn't surprise me.
Drake makes a fortune, but there's a lot of people make a fortune off Drake.
It would be insane if he did. But like that machine,
it's a machine.
There has to be a million moving parts.
Do
you like, for the amount of music that Drake releases?
He's a workhorse though. The music is great. Like he's I mean, first of all, regardless of how you feel, this is one of those like, the Kendrick Drake thing.
Well, no, I mean, and we can get into that, but whether he's your cup of tea or not, like he bats at like 99%, and
I don't think he's ever put out
a bad record, right? And he's
some better than others, but like,
come on. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's especially artists of that like stature, artists up there, who's putting music out as consistently, as much music as consistently, that's performing so high. There's no way he's doing that and running the closing brand and running the record label and coordinating the tours and finding all the beats and doing like there's 100 people that are doing that, and if they should get it cut. More. You know what I'm saying?
There's little people that are a part of that too.
Exactly.
And I don't mean little like that, but like people that aren't making the kind of they're at a ground level.
Wasn't his last deal $500 million? That's what I heard.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know, but like even Dre sold his the rights to his music for like $200 million. Because they know. So I watched this interview recently with Scott Storch. It was on a PBD podcast, and it's really good. It's worth a listen.
Okay,
it's very much so worth a listen.
Okay,
yeah, because he went through a lot of ups and downs.
Yes, he did.
He blew through $100 million.
Yes,
he did, went through a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah,
bro.
I gotta hear that.
Really good interview. Yeah. And he said, he goes, his perspective when Dre, and this is Dre. So he's like, you gave up the rights to your music. Like, isn't that your generational wealth? This is what he's saying to Dre. And Dre was like, he goes, it's going to take me years after my
grandkids die?
Yeah, for me to see more than this $200 million. He goes, take it now, and figure out and enjoy it.
Yeah,
and then you're asking He also said too, Dre, which was a very good perspective, was like, can I guarantee that my kids or my family are going to know what to do with that? The publishing and the masters and he's like he goes, I have to pass down that information and hope that they don't blow it.
True.
So take the money and you can do a million other things. You can invest in going back to what we're talking about, who they are and help differently. It doesn't have to be, so it was a very interesting perspective, made a lot of sense because I do understand where Scott Storch is coming from what I know. Like, you want to hold on to your publishing, you want to hold on to your masters.
Yeah.
Somebody offers you $200 million.
Like, what are you holding on for? Like,
labels are doing it. They're scooping up all people's, all their what's it called? Their libraries, because they are part of the bigger machine.
No, exactly.
So it is generational wealth for them.
They have like shareholders who,
correct.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If this,
there's value. There's a different value attachment to it. But it was crazy. So it was. He said he makes $10 million. He was making $10 million a year. It might be $250. I forget. But $10 million a year off the music.
Yeah.
Which means that they paid him out 20 to 25x the value yearly.
Yeah.
So when PBD was like, you 20x'd in some 20x, like usually when you have like here's our evaluation.
It's like 3x.
Yeah. 20. So that's where music is really interesting because it lives forever.
Yes.
Hits live forever for sure.
Yes.
I mean, everything does, but you know what I mean?
No, that's true. But it's hard to know what music is going to be like in 20 years.
You don't know. Hits are hits. So like, the Michael Jacksons of the world, the music that will live forever.
Yeah.
That stuff will never go away, and it'll constantly be making money in some way, shape, or form.
I think that. What do you think is the last classic album?
Ooh, God. I mean, there's so many genres in music that I don't want to be disrespectful because I'd probably have to listen to a lot more. My hip hop
and like
anything?
We'll say hip hop.
Hip hop. Last classic album, bro.
And I'm not gonna force you to answer it. The point that I'm making is, I kind of think classic albums are dead.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, like the ones that I constantly like. We talking about Carter 3. Like to me, that's a classic album.
I think Good Kid, Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City is like one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, that's like the last one. There may have been another classic since then, but just our attention spans. We move on to stuff too quick now.
Yeah.
Like we used to. I mean, even 15 years ago, you would sit with an album for a while.
100%.
Now, does an album last more than 2 weeks?
It's a single game. It's a single game. They want song,
Yeah.
and to make something wildly cohesive takes time and energy. Where like an artist can go into a room and be like, beat, banger, banger.
Yeah.
Know they're making money, and why would you go make an album? So like, I understand the climate enough to be like, I get why they do it. I am looking for somebody. I'm waiting for somebody though to be like, this is a masterpiece.
I think it's more on the consumer though.
It is more on the, but the artists are caving to the consumer.
I feel you.
You know, it's going to take somebody to step outside of the box.
Yeah,
which it never used to be like that.
You know what? You're making some good points, because trends, trends work how trends work.
Yep.
And we follow the trends.
Correct.
And
the culture shapes everything.
Yeah,
the people, the consumer shapes everything.
Yeah.
So it's really more so the artists or the labels conceding to the culture than it is the culture conceding to the artist and the way it's going.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, and that's why that's why the artists and the labels are making the money, and the consumers are just consuming and spending.
Yeah. Well, but I will say, I think there have to have been many albums over the past few years that were like very, very well thought out. Like I bet there were albums in the last 5 years that if they came out 20 years ago, they might have been classics. And that's like sort of the point that I'm making. I don't think that people even like, we were talking about this before, like, now people will judge an album. People will have their like hard judgment on an album with one listen through, or not even a full listen through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Whereas like 20 years ago, you would listen to an album multiple times before you even talk to anybody.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think like it's like you need to be able to sit with an album and enjoy it a few times to even give it a chance for it to be a classic album.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's also what Scott Storch said. He goes, producers, when he came up, producers were producing the album. Like producers were producing a project, right? And so now it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
His job is like much more to be like single. And so it's just a different landscape. But I mean, everything is so right now.
Yeah.
Zero patience. Fast.
Changing.
No, it's not changing.
I mean, because now you could press a button and make a song. You know what I'm saying? Now they got AI music, like this AI slop. It's like this whole keeping up with the Joneses thing is not. I don't think that's gonna slow down at any point. So So that's what I say. I don't know what music looks like in 20 years. I know that I'm still gonna be making music, because my thing with making music is I love it. You know what I mean?
Love it. I'm with you. You bring up AI, right? So like, again, though, it's everybody conceding to what we all know is like this inevitable, it's what it is and going to be, and it's where everything is going. And where is the artist that decides, fuck where it's going, and give you something that you figure out how to make it this?
Yeah.
Because you can use short form content, you can create viral moments, you can still make a classic album and pluck out, like it's just that you have to put so much time and effort and thought into it. But there's enough artists, in my opinion, and I think it'll be like the Coles of the world, or like the Kendricks of the world, or like, maybe Drake, like maybe, people that
Drake's got it in him, man.
No, there's certain ones that I'm saying do have it in them.
Yeah,
like Kanye, and I know he's ruining
we'll circle
himself,
back to this, but yes, Kanye for sure. But I think that's the thing with the Drake Kendrick beef, that the fact that that Drake is capable of more than he does. That was a reason why the Kendrick thing was even able to happen.
Yes. Because Drake should not technically, he is, like, he's one of the best around, don't get me wrong, but like, Drake's a hit maker. Drake is like a pop artist, just as much as he is a rapper, more than he is a rapper. He's a good rapper.
Yeah, no, he's a pop rapper.
But he's a very good rapper.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
I don't personally put him in like there's buckets, in my opinion. He's up there. I would never discredit. But like, and it's probably my way I came up with, like, rappers to me were like rappers.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like the Slaughterhouses of the world and listening to bars a certain way and the grunge, and it is. Drake isn't in that.
Yeah.
But he knows how to make you think he is, because he's that talented.
Yes.
You know, he's an actor though. Drake comes up as an actor, so he knows how to adapt to anything. He's brilliant. He's a unique, once in a lifetime generational talent.
I agree, and I think that with Kendrick, I think that the thing that he was sort of pulling on, or I don't know, for somebody who's been I've been a Drake, fan since So Far Gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Since Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, since I heard the first joint, I'm like, because also it was a light skinned dude that was singing and rapping. You feel me?
Yeah.
So like, as much as he took my lane, it was like, there's a lane for this.
We got one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We got one.
Like, there's a lane for
Wish
this.
it was me, but we got one.
Yeah. Oh my God. My whole career has been, my Lord. But
you're looking at Drake like, son of
yeah, bro. Every time he would drop, because again, like, he, you know, he's 100 for 100. So, but because he's so talented and because he has the, you know, the accomplishments and the reputation and just everything that he has, the machine, I feel like he could dictate the sound or the direction that he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like he could have, or he absolutely still can. He can elevate music and the culture in different ways that he chooses not to.
He's the right person if you're thinking about who has the influence the right way. And I actually think it'd be the greatest pivot ever off the heels of the Kendrick beef that, you know, the world believes he lost, which I understand that. I think he probably did, but I think it was like this for a second, you know? I think that Drake, if he went that route, it would be, he could shift the entire
music, bro.
If he went that route.
I agree.
If he created an unbelievably classic album, he'd have the thing with Drake and you know, they're so beyond. They're so big at that point. They're in the biggest rooms around the biggest people. There's so much going on. So he would have to dig really, really deep.
Yeah.
And bury himself in a studio and really dig deep, have the right people around him to pull it out of him. Yeah. And go.
You know, I think he could definitely get there. I think there's probably a lot of business considerations, you know, why it's like, it's maybe not even worth it business wise to do it.
I think it's worth it legacy wise.
It's 1,000% worth it legacy wise.
It'll matter more down the road.
Yeah.
You're already Drake.
And that's my thing with Drake. It's like, you don't need, you're the most successful rapper of all time. Yo, Aubrey Drake Graham.
Yeah.
Became the most successful rapper of all time, undisputed.
Undisputed.
Do something with it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Take it somewhere. Like, go get Dre. Yeah. Go get Rick Rubin. Go get the people. The people that know how to make classics. Yeah. And make it happen.
And make it happen. And again, like, elevate the culture. Like, I don't expect him. No one should expect him to like become Kendrick and, you know, modify all of his you know, all, whatever his subject matter. But Drake is like a smart, in tune person. Correct. He has the option. Like he can.
And the way he raps and the way he delivers his stuff, it's really palatable. It's extremely absorbable.
Very, very relatable.
Like Kendrick's a rapper, so it's not gonna get everybody.
Exactly.
Drake can make it for like he is the most probably the most palatable.
Like palatable is a great
sound.
way to put it. Yeah.
He raps just fast enough, just slow enough. It sings just good enough.
Is everything. It's the voice. It's the voice. Everything. It's the how it. You know what I mean?
There's
a
right
reason why
person.
You could give him your lyrics, and it's gonna do something that it would never have done with your voice on it. You know what I'm saying? Like he has all these intangibles. So I think
he's been gifted. That's God's gift, bro. Like that is a gift that he was able to really zero in on and maximize.
You know,
he can act. He can look a certain way in videos. Mm-hmm. He can present it the right way. I think he's got to, if he were to do it, he's got to drop the guard, stop trying to be anything. Anything. Like literally be Aubrey for a second. Like go to Tibet or Bali and like breathe. And then go. And it would be so refreshing to see because there's literally nobody at that level. And there probably are artists that are doing this.
Absolutely.
We just don't hear it.
No, exactly. And that's that's why Kendrick is the moment that Kendrick is having is as appreciated as it is, because, you know, he's somebody that has the, you know, the subject matter and you know, the cultural influence that he does. And that's the direction that he's going with it. But like, as you say, he's not the same kind of at the peak of the Kendrick Drake beef where you know Kendrick like dragging him. Drake is the most streamed artist in the world. You feel what I'm saying?
Of course I do. It's obvious. That's why it's like it's not going to come from hip hop. You know, and that's the scare. I want a classic. I do. And I want one that gets respected, that people hear it, like millions and millions of people hear it and like really do it. So you either got to figure out, how can I market it in a way that's still this, but it's a classic. So you're going to short form stuff, moments of virality, you know, you got to figure it out. Or it could be Drake. Or you get like the Ed Sheeran of the world, or like, you know, one of those artists who can very easily put together, and they have absolute classics.
Yeah.
Like top to bottom, story-esque. What is this? What was this moment? Who were you in this year of creation? Where does it come from? Like it's gone, bro. It's like, feels like it's gone, at least in hip hop.
No, absolutely. And in the last couple of Drake albums, I feel like it's been him fulfilling like label obligations and him doing
Maybe he
things
is,
that
and we don't know.
You feel like,
and I would love it if he is.
Yeah, like
I hope he's riding it out.
You feel me?
And then about to do what we just said.
Like, yo, you really never know. You really never know.
Don't.
So like, you know, it may be that. Yeah. You really never know, man. So,
we need one though.
Yeah, man.
All right, this is what we're gonna do, because I gotta pee really, really bad.
Okay, yeah, do your thing.
And I'm gonna charge this up for a second.
Okay,
we're gonna come back, and I want to get back into.
Cool.
Yeah, because we went on a
that was cool though.
Music industry conversation. But I'll be right back. Needed that bathroom break. Thank you for your patience.
Of course.
Great talk. We could talk music all day.
We could. Sure.
I do want to get back into you. I think it's very, very important. You know, you're here for a little bit. Let's make the most of it.
Man.
Let people into let people into, you know, who you are. I mean, the last we left it in regards to your story is room rap.
So I guess college, right? After college. So after, you know, graduating, and you know, college was one of those things where it was never I'm gonna get a degree and get a job. Like my degree was something that I always thought was like very pointless, but
it was like more like educational for you, like you just wanted to learn, or you didn't even. I gotta pick something.
You know, it's like, because I studied business, you know, again, business marketing and music management. So I knew there were things I was going to apply in directly for my career, right? And again, coming from where I come from, there wasn't like any pathway for it. So this was just a way for me to meet people, learn the things that I need to learn, and then, you know, see what I could do afterwards. So then afterwards, I got into like concert production and promotion was, you know, my thing, right? So how can I use this business acumen, and how can I use this marketing to be able to make money, and also, you know,
put yourself out.
Put myself, you know, out there, you know, give myself platforms for my music. So I started, you know, producing concerts. First one I did was with Kid Ink, back at the Starling Ballroom.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and that was dope, because actually one of the openers that we have for that, and I brought like, you know, J Hood, you know, performed at that one. That was like his first.
Shout out J Hood, bro. He's a Jersey legend.
Jersey staple,
yo,
man.
Bro, he's a staple.
Yeah, you know,
he's a staple,
and he's been doing this thing for a while.
He deserves more respect.
You know, agreed. Yeah, I remember I saw him like a few years back, and he was telling me how, like I put him on to his first like big shows.
Wow,
and I didn't even really know that at the time. I just, you know, I knew about him, and I had friends who enjoyed his music, so it was just a natural thing. Like my whole thing is, so Ill Intent is the name of my imprint. You know, that's my company, and I never wanted to be a record label, because I think I caught early on how, remember it, you know, in our area, so we had the there was like the Young Moneys. That was the golden one, right?
Yeah.
But there were so many different artist-led labels. But I always felt like I'm never going to be able to give it to my artists, because like I want to be the biggest artist in the world. So I'm not going to simultaneously do that while also helping you be. As much as I may want you to succeed,
it's going to come across a little inauthentic, and not inauthentic, but self-ish.
I mean, if your goal is to like reach the highest you can as an artist, then you're going to look at all the opportunities for yourself. Yeah. And you can't be doing that and looking for all the opportunities.
Looking out for the right way.
Yeah. You know, and so I always like, you know, I consult, you know, different services for, you know, for artists, like, you know, I've kind of always done, but, you know, I never wanted to take on that role, but with Ill Intent early on, what I wanted to do was, use the concerts for a chance for get me on stage, put some money in my pocket, but also be able to highlight these other dope artists.
Yeah, that's super dope. Yep.
So yeah, the Kid Ink one was the first one I did, and then I did another one with P&B Rock. I did his Catch These Vibes tour, and at the Wellmont Theater, and that was the biggest show on his tour. I remember, the Live Nation people, they were so floored by the fact that I came through. So and at this time, Inland 10 is like a concept, and everything like that. And I always make things seem like they're it's 100-person team, but like it was really just me, right? So I went in, I rented the space, I booked the artists, I'd handled the promotion, I coordinated all the all the opening acts for that one. We had Rolling Stone P, I think we had we had like a for the PNB show, we had such a Justin Love, some crazy people on that one, and we sold that one out. That was their highest ticketed, because they oversold the venue. We sold out, and then they opened up some extra tickets for me. So,
and he was hot. I remember this show. I remember seeing it on social media and stuff. And it was he was hot. He
was real hot at this time.
He was hot.
So I was able to get on that tour, and man, it was really good opportunity and everything. Rest in peace, P&B Rock, bro. That's like so freaking sad that he's
terrible.
Like so talented.
Yeah.
And off of that show, they ended up inviting me back to just perform and promote. You know what I'm saying? Another show that they had. I didn't produce that one, but I was building my relationship with those people over there. But man, my journey has just been, I haven't been as consistent as I needed to be, you know what I'm saying, or as I would have liked. But a lot of that is just, doing it independent. And like, I was in a bad management situation for a while. Had personal things going on. I had, we talked about, a little bit before, but like it could get depressing.
Yeah.
It could get real heavy mentally.
Yeah. And you say, and I'll say two things. For one, you've done a really good job of, if you didn't tell me, you went through it, you do a good job of not letting it put it out there to everybody. Because some people, they overly share or they wear it. Yeah. So that's kudos to you for that, because it's not easy.
Yeah. I not that I think that you need to hide that stuff, but I guess for me, when people, I want to inspire people.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
I want to inspire people, and I don't want to give people the impression that life's always good or anything like that. Like, but just know that I always overcome.
Overcome, persevere.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I agree.
Yeah.
And you also, what I was going to add to that was that you're ambitious. So when you say, I'm not as consistent, like, I've struggled with this myself, so it's relatable. I'd imagine that we're similar in this regard. And if I'm going off what you said, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't like, I'm going to be the best promotion company, or I'm going to be just the best artist. It's like, when you are, it's a gift and a curse, because when you're good at various different things, or can juggle various different things, you almost are doing as much as you possibly can until one goes. To be able to then, right? Yeah. And that can hurt you.
Absolutely.
Because you're not maximizing things. Like, stay focused. My partner tells me all the time, he's like, pick a thing.
No, absolutely. Because you can only give 100% to one thing.
Yeah, it's just, I struggle with it the same way I think you do.
Yes. And, putting on the shows was also, always a vessel for my music. Everything has kind of been, around, because the music is the hardest thing. I think like QC, who was it from QC said this a couple years ago, but just like, it takes 250,000 to give a single a chance. At
You're
being
competing,
number one. You know what I'm saying?
With big budgets.
Yeah, right. But I think big. Like, I've never thought of myself as an artist that would, like, I look at myself with all the big dogs. So it's like, how do I compete in these spaces? So, and the record label route kind of early on. So I actually interned at Epic Records under Sony. in the early 2010s, and I found out early I didn't want to be part of the major labels, you know, situation. But that it was a really
as an
good,
artist.
as an artist.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as an artist. But it and not that it works for a lot of people, you know. I don't know if Future still is, but Future was signed to Epic. Travis Scott, I think, is still signed to Epic. There's obviously a lot of, you know, artists that get signed to majors and do really well. But first of all, yeah, working in a record label, I would never want to do that. But and then as the artist side, you realize that most artists sit on the shelf, and every artist is talented. Like every artist is on the shelf on these labels. Like they're all talented. So you grind so hard to get that record label deal, you know, to get that record label deal, and then, you know, more times than not, you're going to be sitting on the shelf anyway. So I've always thought the independent route made the most sense, and I think it's just, you know, a combination of, you know, it was the bad management situation, all these things where I just wanted to be self-sustainable. I didn't want my trajectory and my potential and anything like that to be capped by, you know, somebody else. You know, if I'm gonna, you know, live or die is gonna be on my accord. So doing all these other things, it's all to serve the goal of me being able to live the life that I want to live, which is being able to make music, perform music, get that out there, and then my other ambitions or other things that I definitely want to do, like the. So GiWiGi is the name of my my hemp or cannabis delivery company, and so it's actually an acronym for Get It While I Got It. Right?
Oh, dope. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like, you know, the whole thing. But yeah, man. So I got into that space. So 2020 now, there's no shows.
Yeah.
Now that whole industry is shut down.
Wow.
Now the only way I make money, you know what I'm saying, really, you know, was shut down. So. And then also at that time, I was like very involved in the community. You know, these were the George Floyd protests. So I was leading and organizing a lot of those because I saw it as like this very unique moment in time where everybody was home, everybody was paying attention, and there was this very too obvious on the nose example of systemic oppression, right? So I've always, you know, me being an artist has always been about, you know, being able to create and do the things that I love and be able to relate to people. I love shows and being able to connect to people. When people hear my songs, being able to connect in that way. And that's always been so special to me. But the other part of being a big artist especially is now I have a platform to do some good with it. You know, I know the world that my mom came in, and the world that so many, you know, I had my disadvantages, but I'm so blessed and privileged in so many ways. I don't really look at it, you know, like that. But I knew that being an artist of a certain stature, I'd be able to use that platform to make other people's lives better. And that's something that's always been very important to me. You know, any help, you know, any opportunities that I have that other people pave the way for, my way of paying that back is to, you know, pay it forward, right? See how I can make other people's lives better. So there was in 2020, there was this void for like real leadership, you know, in that space. So yeah, in 2020, I got real involved with that, and that's when I got involved in politics and everything like that. But also at this time, cannabis was on the ballot. Yeah. You know, there was a referendum on that. We're going to vote whether we're making that legal in New Jersey. And for me, it was like, you know, there's this it's an inevitable $1 billion industry that I get an opportunity to start with at the
groundish level.
You know what I'm saying? On the ground level. But also, we know that the prohibition on marijuana disproportionately affected Black and brown people. And I think it's only right that, you know, Black and brown people are victors, you know what I'm saying, in the legalization. So, you know, I want to create something where I can just, you know, obviously connect, because also cannabis is medicine. You know, there's a lot of people that use it as medicine.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And abuse it.
And abuse it. But like, so on that end, right? So you never knew me when I partook at all, right? It's something actually just in the last few years. And it's funny because like I always say the reason why I didn't, like, I never smoked when I was young is the reason why I did and why I do now. Like, when I was young, I played sports. I was always very focused.
Hyper focused, yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And now my body is...
I need medicine.
You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
My knees, I got 2 shoulder surgeries. I got, you know what I'm saying?
It is very calming. It helps tremendously if used correctly.
If used correctly, and I'm big on that, right? Use it, don't abuse it, right? So, you know, being able to connect people to, you know, the medicine that they need, and you know, taking away those stigmas from it, but also being able to give opportunities to marginalized people and people that have, you know, weed priors on their record. You know, that's really big for me. Also, you know, in my company, I have like a disabled veteran. I have another, you know, another person who's currently serving, you know, in this crazy climate, because, you know, those products are very important to the veteran community.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're really big advocates for it. So, I forget where this started, but the point is that, you know, this was an opportunity for me to use my business acumen, you know, and my community involvement. Yeah, you know, the things that I'm trying to do to create a better future and a better society. I was able to kind of intertwine those things, you know, with the cannabis, and then also, you know, weed and music. Weed and hip hop go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Hand in hand, bro.
Yeah. So
hand in hand.
You know, we're talking off camera about how there's a different things in your life that you're able to like sort of make sense together.
I feel like, as frustrating as moments are in your career, at the highs and lows.
Yeah.
The experience and having done it gives you a leg up in a million ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like you could hold, you say it might not be a music event. It could be an event for the cannabis industry, and it's educational, and maybe there's a musical act. And now you have, because somebody going into that, like, this is what I want to do, and having zero experience would very likely not be able to figure it out. Yeah. They would learn from how it would not probably work out the way you thought.
Yeah.
All of it and everything you've ever been through has gotten you to this point.
No, exactly.
It's all positive.
And it's so beautiful when you see the different things that you've gone through in life, like equip you for the next thing.
Yes, and it's a reminder to everybody, bro. You're in the moment emotions, like do not let them kill you.
Yeah.
Because when you've been through it enough, and then you have those look back moments, like, you know, I gained from that.
Yeah.
You know, if your goal was money and you didn't get money, I understand the pain. If your goal was, you know, peace of mind and you didn't get it, I understand the pain. But when you look back and you realize that you elevated from it.
Yeah, you learn from it. That next thing you were able to do because of that other, you know, that past failure. You know, that saying that, you know, fail forward.
Absolutely. My 10 years-ish of doing music and being an artist and like being on stages and like around people and doing things, like the confidence I gained, because I was not always confident. I might have seemed confident to people, you know.
You could put it on, but
I knew how to put it on.
Yeah.
But it became like the last year or two of being an artist, like you're talking 2017, 18, really. Those last few years were like smooth.
Yeah.
Like I'm so seasoned.
Yeah.
Like nothing, no anything I did on stage or however I mapped anything out, everything was adjustable.
Yeah.
Everything was feel.
Yeah.
Everything was comfort. Everybody played their role. Everybody did what they did. I was good. I knew it. And that's why I knew, like, if or when that time came at that time that I was going to be put at that next level, all of the hardship, all of the pain, all of the frustration, all of the ups and downs, the late nights, the this, the that, it culminated to create readiness.
Yes.
Readiness.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been ready at 24.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been ready.
Yo, and I've been feeling the same way. I'm like, I
wouldn't have been ready.
I have to.
I would have been sucked into that industry, bro, and I would have been eaten alive.
Exactly. And then, like, you know, how many people came in at that time who disappeared in a year or two, or, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like, you know, you wouldn't trade spaces with them for anything. Yeah.
No, my integrity, you know, my I've had some interesting conversations with people, bro, like in the music industry, because I really distanced myself. Like really not.
Yo, and I could understand why.
Why?
Because you gave so much to it and you were so emotionally attached to it, if you felt like you couldn't do it like you wanted to do it, or that was an option for you, like, I understand the instinct of running as far away from it as possible. Like, I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want nothing that's gonna,
it wasn't really even like that.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like, I'm gone, I don't want to see nothing, hear nothing. Like when I stopped doing, when that show was done, I've shared this on the podcast before. So like was
this the T-Nex show?
Yeah, outside.
No. Okay.
What T-Nex show are you talking about? Mexico Live?
Yeah.
Oh no, I did. Okay. It was funny. I just went back and watched my buddy Guy, really super talented artist, bro. Awesome dude. He was on the podcast. Awesome. He's gonna go places if he sticks with it, and he already has. But like, not to put down, but like he got it. But I went to his show. And I had done Mexico, so I did Mexico Live like 7 times and Debonair like 6.
Oh,
like
wow.
that was my home,
okay.
And we lit it up. Like we put the Justin Love, Danny Munoz, I mean Rolling Stone P. I mean I brought, and I was the headliner every time we put it right. So we lit that place up. I go back and I'm in the crowd and I look up and it's the guy Dave who owns the spot. And I just walked up to him and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" He goes, "What the fuck? Like, where have you been?" You know what I mean? Made an impact though. Yeah. And I could tell, and it was cool, and I've had people remind me about that a lot, and that's what I was getting into. But like, just real quick, when I stopped doing music, I didn't distance myself from like, I distanced myself from how I knew how to do it. I distanced myself from the rat race of what I was chasing. That's what I distanced myself from. I'll never forget sitting down. It was very hard talking to my team because all of them who are all talented and have all gone on to do amazing things in their own right? But at that time, they were riding the Robbie Maxx coattail in many ways, and they were still doing their own thing. Don't get me wrong, but like I had the look. It was happening, right?
Yeah, and also, so one thing I'll say about your team was the fact that they were allowed that was very important.
That's meetings every week. That was me being a leader too. And mind you, I'm dealing with a bunch of leaders. They're all leaders. A bunch of alphas. Trust me. Right. So we had our moments, don't get me wrong, but like very transparent conversations. I would leave every single meeting saying, I know it's about me, but if any of you figure it out and pop off, we're good. Don't worry. I know I'm going to be good. So like we always made sure that although it was a focus on me, everybody was simultaneously motivated to go harder for themselves because we all kind of wanted to be that guy, but it wasn't about that. And every show wasn't about that. I highlighted everybody at every show. Everybody played their role. Everybody did their thing. Like we had a very tight crew. And that was just BXXB. Then you break it down, go layers beyond that. And you had Airplane Entertainment, who I was signed to, Wonder, Josier, who's now, he's now Josier, but Josh, their younger brother. You had TMG. I had the street side. I had the music. We had a 30-person crew. That when and I was at the forefront of the artist. Like I was the artist for that 30-person crew amongst 10 other artists trying to do it. So there was some stuff. Don't get me wrong, but like, bro, we had a machine. Like if we were focused, because we were still, there was a lot of ups and downs and disconnected. And there was moments, but it's life. Bro, we had it. Like when we would walk in places, I'll never forget, we used to go do shows, bro, and we'd walk in and be like, bro, off a tour bus, right? We'd be like a 30-person party van. And we're going into the hood, right? And who's the artist? He's
not the manager.
Wait, what? And then we would light the place up, and they'd be like, "Yo."
But you look like an artist.
I definitely was an artist, but you walk off that party bus, the last thing you're thinking is you're the guy. People that knew us knew, but people that didn't know us, it was crazy, bro. But so like. That was never my thought process. So when we sat, I remember 2 months after I took a break, I sat down with Richie, DJ Lil Bruh, and Ryan, my manager. And Ryan took it the hardest, for sure, because Ryan put everything into Robbie Maxx. Bro, I, to this day, have not spoken to Ryan about this. I haven't even spoken to Ryan.
Wow.
We might have seen each other once in the last 7 years. And it hurts me. Pains me, bro.
Wow.
It more now than ever, because I've become older and more mature. Ryan gave me his all. And Ryan, he went into management not knowing how to manage, right? But like his effort.
It was you, yeah.
I miss having a Ryan.
Yeah, word. Yo, I always wanted a Ryan, bro.
Ryan's one of the best, bro. He deserves nothing but respect for how hard he went, right? He had his moments. He had his this, his that. He had like a little crazy side. Don't get me wrong, but like, bro, when I tell you, he did however he knew how to do it. He put in 120% effort.
Yeah.
It wasn't about like the best manager, but he was the best manager because of that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know, he didn't have the relationship. We built relationships together. He was coming up the same way I was in his own right.
He didn't even know it. So he's there learning on the job. He's giving it everything.
He gave it everything, bro. And so it was very hard on him. And there was a lot of conflict with the label that was going to sign me and too, because they weren't seeing eye to eye at all. They wanted me to get rid of both of everybody. Yeah. There was a lot. It was a lot. So I won't get into the depths. I've talked about it. But we sat down, Ryan, myself, and Richie. We called a meeting. I forget who called it. And I'm thinking like, because I was about to the point where like, you know what? Let's just try and do this again. And before I even got it out of my mouth, bro, everybody said anything. Richie, you know, he had been a hype man, and Richie's another. I mean, like I got gems, bro. I had gems. Richie was unbelievable on stage. So he's like, I want to DJ. And that was something that I could use anyway if I wanted to do the artist thing. But like, he wanted to DJ. I'm like, I'll help you do that. However you want to do that. And Ryan said to me, because I think I want to be an artist.
That's what happened at that time.
At that time, and that threw me, and I didn't really know how to react. But the only thing I could say was like, however you need me to help you, fine. Yeah. And any little bit of like, I'm going to try this again. Kind of like, I had to wait a little bit to see where it go. And so Ryan started doing what he did. We never really spoke much after that. And then Richie, I started managing him. And I put a lot of effort into managing Richie at that time, you know? And so we wound up when we started working with Future Moguls. He signed to Future Moguls, which was Miles' company. And so it slowly became, I was in the music industry, but I was using everything I knew from being an artist to turn it into how can I help almost 0 to 1 talent, you know? And so I managed him, and then I managed a couple other people, and then slowly but surely years went by. And then I did other things like the studio and the this and the that, and like kind of kept my finger on the pulse, you know, but I distanced myself from the majority, because I don't.
I mean, but this is also like this is the pandemic comes into play. Then
it was. It would have been a great time to share music. Would have been a great time to do a lot of things. I just wasn't in the headspace to do it. I was married, you know, and I was living a very different life than I ever was prior to getting married. It was a lot. So it did not. I couldn't figure out how.
You know, and that's so important because we're talking about before with the authenticity, like your music reflects where you're at.
It does.
And then when you're like married and you're settling down a different way. I
didn't know how. I felt like I had some music that I felt like could work, but like if I was going to distance myself, it wasn't going to be jump back in because you just want to. It's going to be like, this got to feel right now because I'm so removed from the 8 years of momentum I had. So it just was what it was. And I mean, it taught me a lot, bro. I started a production company almost like. You know, it's funny, bro. I'll go back to the production company thing, right? So I found Nate. I mean, Nate found me, really. But, you know, Nate watched me come up. Unbelievable talent, Nate Willette. He was 17 at the time. He DMs me. And, you know, a lot of people that would reach out, you know, but, like, he was different. He sent me one clip of him singing, and my wife, who's, like, my top 40 listener, who I use as a crutch.
Okay.
Is this good? Is it not? You know, says, you know, he's dope. Who's that?
Okay.
I was like, all right, let me see. Bring him to the studio. Long story short, started managing him. And I remember starting the production company and signing it to him because I knew so much about the business. Almost overthought it because of the business. And I was like, I've been a part of production companies. I've worked for production companies. I'm going to show you how to do a production company. But I was not ready to do a fucking production company. Like running a production company and investing in all those things, I just thought it was going to go. And it just did. It was a little overzealous. But all of these things, point is all of these things are learning curves.
Learning curves, man. There's no teacher like experience.
No.
There's no teacher like
nothing
experience.
But life.
Yeah.
Life you, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Life you, bro. Facts. Everything, man. But all of it has allowed me to walk around, no matter who you are, no matter what business you're in, no matter how much money you have, no matter what power you have, and confidently shake your hand, and you will walk away and be like, who's that?
Yeah. Yo, confidence is such an underrated thing.
It is the number. You can make anybody believe anything with confidence, and don't do it sideways.
Yeah.
Don't do it like to get something out of this. I advise you don't.
Yeah.
Like if you need to use it, I mean, people are desperate, so I get it.
Well, you know, I'll just say, like, you know, to anybody watching, like, really, like, take inventory of yourself. You know, when it comes to your confidence. So I was this was like my last days of bartending. I had some guy ask me, like, he knew I was doing the music and everything like that. He's like, you know, he just asked me, like, do you know that you're gonna make it? And I guess in my yes response, I just didn't sound sure. I didn't sound confident.
Yep.
And he was just like, once you know you're gonna make it, then you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that anybody had actually confronted me about the actual confidence in myself. And to me, like, I had always thought that I was confident in myself.
Yeah, because you were more confident than the people you were around.
Yeah.
And so they can't. Nobody's pushing you. Nobody is there. There's levels to everything.
Yeah.
When you got somebody who checks you real quick,
Yeah.
confidently,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
not ignorantly,
Yeah.
confidently, and makes you question something about yourself.
Yeah.
There's more people than just the people that you can keep right here.
Yeah.
The world's much bigger. There's a lot more.
So that was, like, very important for me. So I started, you know, from that point, I, you know, just, again, like, taking inventory of myself, like, really looking, like, why aren't you 100% confident, right? And you know, really, whatever, doing all the self-evaluating and everything like that. But now, you know, I'm so sure and so confident of myself, you know, to what you're saying. Like, I've met some of the dopest, like, you know, richest, accomplished people, you know, and it just, like, really genuinely doesn't shake me at all. You know, I can be in a room with anybody, and I've noticed how much that I'm able to build with people and I impress people because I act like a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
You have the confidence and the intangibles to be in that room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know that when you're genuine and you're not acting like, yes, you are, your soul is a billionaire. Beyond that, you're a person, a human. And when you're in those people, they navigate around a lot of people who, you know, kiss the ring.
Yes.
And right. So when you're not that, you're a breath of fresh air for them, bro.
Yeah. And I don't oversell myself. I'm just, like, who I am. I'm real about
Shit
what
matters,
I do,
bro.
and why I do what I do. And to, like, really know that that's enough is fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
I
fire.
do.
So I really try, like, you know, for younger cats in the game, or just in any space, I really try to drill them to that, like, that confidence. First of all, and the way you build that confidence, like the way you build your confidence with your body, is you just show up to the gym every day. You know what I'm saying? Just show up to the gym every day. Build that, like, look in the mirror, look at your progress, like, understand, like, once you go to the gym for 2 weeks and you're like, oh, like, if I show up every day, I'm just gonna look better. It's just what 100% is gonna happen. It just takes time.
One day at a time.
You just have to keep going, right? And then once you know that, you build that confidence, you keep going, you build that confidence. Now it don't matter who walks into the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. There's people who walk, and remember this too. There's people that walk in looking great. Looking great. You are so, and I can tell, you are so uncomfortable with you are masking your truth with muscles.
Yeah.
You're masking your truth with the fast whip. You're masking your truth with the chain. You're masking your truth with all this shit. You're using these things as a, you know, so many people do that, bro.
Yeah, facts.
So many people do that, bro. Because bro, they have small man complex.
Yes.
Bro, when I say so many, it's so many. And then what's even crazier is the majority of people feed into it. The vast majority of people feed into it, like, oh, look, he's so beautiful, or she's so beautiful, or look at the car and at this. Like, yeah, all of it is impressive. All of it. But if you're gonna commit to that person,
exactly,
you better do your fucking due diligence.
Yeah.
You better 100%. Really do your due diligence, because I'm not sold on any of that bullshit, bro. I'm not sold on any of it. I want to know that you have it and you're also, like, a fucking real human being,
a real human,
like like who gives advice. And
the world is so superficial, but especially in the entertainment space, it's like,
bro, it's a joke,
like,
bro.
Being superficial is incentivized.
It's incentivized because it's young. You know, bro, I'm not that old. I remember being I remember being young and impressionable.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you should. Yeah. You're a kid. I think if like a kid were to be watching this right now, a younger person to be watching this right now, it's more or less like you can be impressionable. You're gonna be impressionable. Yeah. But if this is let this be a friendly reminder. Hopefully, it like sticks somewhere in your brain. Plant a seed that so much of what you think is cool ain't cool.
It's not. Absolutely.
So much, bro. The coolest thing about anybody is themselves.
Like, or just know that it's cool right now.
It's a moment.
It's a moment.
We can all be infatuated by a lot of amazing things. Like we all are to some extent, right? But those are moments.
Yeah, those are just moments. And just know that like your 30s are just as long as your 20s. Your 40s are just as long as your 20s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of life left to live. There's things that matter more than like what you're seeing in this moment right now. And I think that a lack of confidence, especially when you're young, before you're like, when you're unproven and things like that, you feel like you have to like measure up to certain things, or you have to be certain things at certain times, or you have to appear certain ways. And nah, man, like, it's cool. So on Saturday, I had my this organization that Heal. So it's a nonprofit that I actually started a few years ago. So we did our 5th annual Juneteenth celebration, right? And there is this young woman. I guess she's like 20 now or something like that, but or 19. I don't know, but she's been there since the first one. And she we had her speak, and she was saying something like she was talking about how your uniqueness, the things that you bring to the table, the experiences that you have, the things that that other people don't, just all those things that are you, like, that's your superpower.
Yeah. Facts.
And so that's something that I've said a few years ago, probably just a little bit different, but it was cool to see
a young person to say it. Yeah. And to add to that, because she's right. She's spot on. Yeah. It is your superpower. Yeah. How you deliver the message, though,
yes,
is everything.
Yes,
because you can know everything if you can't convey with conviction.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Because
then what does it matter? Like, it's good to know. Then you move quietly.
Yeah,
right. But if you're looking to speak on it,
it's all about reception. It's all about it being received.
Yep.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Yep. And there's a bunch of different rabbit holes like you can go down, just talking about that right there, that how you say is more important than what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because, from the, like, in the political spaces that I've been to, different from music, to everything.
Yep. Conviction, bro. Yeah. Conviction. Yeah. And everybody's going to do it different. Everybody is different. Right. So like, but you got to, it's just a feeling. Like, you have a feeling when you listen to somebody who is, it's like those speeches, like those historical speeches. Yeah. You kind of know. When a song hits you a certain way. Yeah. It's not you kind of know. Like that, you got it.
Yeah.
That was special. That moment is special. It's different. Emotions are pouring. That's different. Right? So like, learn how to not talk when you're not ready.
Yeah. Facts. Because a lot of people feel like they need to fill the room with sound,
or nothing to prove.
Like, or they need to prove their whatever it is. But
better to know.
Yeah,
better to know than ruin.
Yes,
an opportunity that'll give other people. Life is chess, bro.
Yeah.
Life is chess. And the depth of life's chess is far more than a bunch of pieces on a board. It's deep, bro. And it is layers and layers and layers and layers. And it's not easy, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make wrong moves. But life is fucking chess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact. We're going to keep playing it, man.
I love it.
I keep getting better at this game. So
yeah, I love it, bro. I had a lot of pieces that got taken early.
So you had to move smarter.
Had to move smarter. Had to take my time.
Yeah.
You know, had to move less quick. You know, it's we want things now, man. A lot of people want things now. I know the feeling, and I still do. There's just so many other things I think about that hold more weight than the timeliness of what I want.
You know, I was having a conversation with my boy. You know him, actually. Shout out Jack Blames.
Ah, I love Jack.
Yeah. So we're having a conversation, and I think the conversation that we're having was around like failure or something on that topic, and I was telling him, people have to look at it not like they failed, but that they failed to do something on the timeline that they told themselves that they had to meet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, that's what people will do. Like, we have this idea that we're these talented artists. By 25, we're gonna own an island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it
only because we see a couple 25-year-olds do it. Do it.
No, and they didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even real.
That's the other guy's island, bro.
Yeah, and it wasn't even real. But you know what I'm saying? But like we allow that to tarnish the image that we have of ourselves.
Yes.
And
it's true.
You can't compare your life to somebody else's life. You don't know what they did to get there. You don't know what advantages.
You don't even know the
had.
truth.
And then you don't even know the truth,
bro. When somebody said that, and it's a known thing, like, bro, when the world is a fucking stage.
Yes,
it's a fucking stage.
Yeah,
everything you see has some sort of marketing aspect to it.
There's a filter on everything.
Man. Everything. Yeah. Do not look at anything at face value.
Yeah.
Like, really do your due diligence. Let yourself learn from what you see and take it how you need to take it, and it can spark something. It could be, maybe it's real. Just don't commit to what you see for the first time. Like, that's the be all end all.
Yeah.
It's a stage, bro.
Yeah. Not a sit.
It's made me want to get away and never I literally, I would have no problem if I would, I say this to my wife, and I'm going to do it at some point. RV, gone, 30 days, 60 days, podcast in it, see the country, nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gone, because I know I can get everything that we're talking about. I can give that without playing this stupid fucking game.
Yo, without playing it, And
I'll play the game the way I want to play the game, and I will respectfully manipulate it's not like a negative manipulation. It's just like, I'll use the tools I've been given to be able to convey and convict a message to do X, Y, and Z while I'm in a peaceful space.
Yes. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Experiencing more.
Absolutely.
I'm doing it at some point.
Yeah.
Gone.
No, I love that. And one thing you learn, as you grow through life, you get older. A lot of those things, as we say, a lot of the things that we aspire for weren't even real from the people that we were seeing them from, right?
Oh.
But also, like, you meet these millionaires. You meet people who make crazy money that live paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. You meet people who make crazy money who have no time or have a couple weeks out of the year to enjoy it. And then what are you doing it for? What are your goals and what are you doing it for? And for me, it's more about we have this one life. It's very important, for me that I get to enjoy this life, as long as I can. It's very important for me that, my mom, who's like the most beautiful person ever, who's been through some crazy stuff, who's given so much, that she gets to enjoy as much of her life as possible, that my family that I love so much, that they get to enjoy as much as life as possible. And then, using all the blessings that I get, all the resources I have, the platforms that I have to help other people live the best life that they can have. And like, there's no number on that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all feeling, bro.
Yeah.
It's all feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end this one.
Happiness, man.
I mean, I'll keep talking.
That's the destination, bro.
It is I made this brand, bro, without even, I knew it, but didn't even, it was all feeling. It's about like, what matters most to me. It is happiness, how I feel. And like the idea of embracing your journey, it fucking embrace it and don't be mad at it. Like, don't get pissed off. Like, what are you mad at? Be mad at yourself for not recognizing.
Yeah.
You know, be mad at yourself for not.
If you're gonna be mad at anybody,
don't be mad at anybody.
Like,
they better do something to you.
Like,
fucking
yeah. Like, if you're gonna be mad at somebody, be mad at yourself.
Be mad at yourself.
Yeah.
You are the common thread to every situation you're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are the one person that determines how you take life. You know what I'm saying?
You can change it. You can make it what you want to make it. 1,000,000%, bro.
Yeah.
Before we jump though, is there anything like what are things that people should be looking out for from Scott Paul?
Man, thank you for asking. So a lot of new music on the way. You know, I'm very excited to get back. You know, I just got back in the studio for the first time in like a year, bro.
Ooh,
yeah. So
I gotta hear that.
Yeah, man. So I'm very excited for that. I think, you know, my last project, Gemini Man, was really like in my music and outside of music. You know, I was doing a lot of things over the last five years. I feel like, you know, I've always been put in a box. So my last album was really about just being able to create and talk about whatever, you know, just be as outside the box as I want to be. But this, you know, this project that I'm working on, this music that I'm working on going forward, it's, you know, it's I guess more purpose driven, I'll say. You know, it's still going to be a lot of the same Scott Paul. You're going to get a lot of the
sexy,
you know, a lot of the sexy, a lot of the fun. But yeah, you know, I think there's a in this last year I've taken, you know, a lot of inventory of myself, and you know, one of the things that I did was I looked at like what inspired me to write music. You know, when I started and why I wanted to be an artist, and to what I was saying before, it's using the platform to do something good with it. And like when kids hear my music, when young people hear my music, who am I inspiring them to be? You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I'm just like a little more conscious of. So yeah, I mean, I got some party vibes coming. You know, stay tuned for the music.
You still need the hits.
You still
need a little joint.
There's gonna be stuff for everybody. We still gonna get ratchet.
Let them reel them in. Let them reel them in.
Yeah. You already know.
I know the deal.
So there's gonna be all that, but stay tuned for the music. GiWiGi, my hemp cannabis delivery and wholesale company. We're gonna be launching that this year. Stay tuned. We're gonna be launching it in Texas, Jersey, Florida, and North Carolina. Then a bunch of other states as the years go on. So just follow me. I am Scott Paul, and yeah, man, come along for the ride.
Yeah. Now this was worth the conversation.
Word, bro.
I'm happy you hit me.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy that I've been around you for well over a decade, and this is the first time we really sat down with no strings attached, no artist to artist, and fucking this, that, and the third. Right? It's like, yo, you're a good man. I root for you.
Likewise, man.
It checks what I thought.
Yeah.
You are.
Word.
It checks.
Oh. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, so you're a good dude, bro. Everybody go follow. It's gonna pop up right here. I do this. There's my new thing.
There you go.
Right here.
Follow that.
Right there. Follow right there. And yeah, till next time, bro.
Till next time.
Next time I'm jumping on your podcast.
Yes, you are. Yes, sir. My man. Appreciate you.
My dog.